So here in this diagram you can see that is the TS of medulla at the level of sensory decussation. So here you can see the decussation. So first, that is the central gray matter. So here the central gray matter, it is very small and contain the three nucleus. So here you can see first, second and third. So that is the first nucleus, it is the hypoglossal nucleus. Second, that is the vagus nucleus, and the third, that is the nucleus of tractus solitarius. Then also here in the anterior side, that is the olivary nucleus is present. And next one, that is the spinal nucleus and the tract of the trigeminal nerve, that is also present. Then the nucleus of gracilis and the nucleus of cuneatus, it is very much larger. So here you can see nucleus of gracilis and the nucleus of cuneatus. In the first diagram, that is very much small, but in the sensory decussation level, it should be very much larger, and separate the central gray matter and forming the internal arcuate fibers. So here you can see from this nucleus of gracilis and cuneatus, that is the fibers comes out, that is called the internal arcuate fibers, arising from the cells of the gracile and the cuneate nucleus. They comes forwards and medially, and around the central side it should be joined and crosses to forming that the decussation. Okay, then lateral to that the cuneate nucleus, there is presence the accessory cuneate nucleus. So here you can see, which receives more lateral fibers derived from the cervical segments of the spinal cord. Then next to it, that is the anterior and the posterior spinocerebellar tracts are present. So here anteriorly, that is the two pyramids are present, this one. The lateral and the anterior spino-ophthalmic tract, it is very much close to each other, and collectively it form the spinal lemniscus. So this one. And posterior to that the spinal lemniscus, so here that is the medial longitudinal bundle is present. So this one. So these are the structure which is present into that the TS of medulla at the level of sensory decussation. After then we should have to see that is the TS of medulla oblongata at the level of the olive. So here in this diagram you can see. So here in this diagram you can see the TS of upper part of the medulla, that means the floor of the fourth ventricle. So here you can see that is the triangular cavity, it is the fourth ventricle or the floor of the fourth ventricle. Then the structure presents into that the TS, that is the important structure, the inferior olivary nucleus. So here you can see the inferior olivary nucleus. So it is the largest mass of the gray matter seen in this level and shows the elevation of the olive, this one. Then the arcuate nucleus, so here you can see this one on both sides, the arcuate nucleus that lies anteromedial to that the pyramidal tract. So here that is the pyramidal tract or the corticospinal tract are present. So this one, so on the anteromedial side, that is the arcuate nucleus is present. Then the nucleus of the hypoglossal, so here you can see the hypoglossal nucleus that should be present on the paramedian side. Then lateral to it, that is the nucleus of vagus, and lateralmost side there is the nucleus of the vestibular is present. So here you can see. Then below to it, the nucleus of the vestibular nerve, there is present the nucleus of tractus solitarius, this one. Then apart from this, there is presence the nucleus of ambiguous, so this one. So nucleus of ambiguous, it lies deep to the reticular formation. So here you can see that is the reticular formation. So this ambiguous nucleus is present deep to that the reticular formation of the medulla, and it gives the origin of 9th, 10th and 11th cranial nerves. Then the cochlear nuclei that should be present below to that the inferior cerebellar peduncle, means in this region. So you know the vestibular nucleus that should be present above to that the inferior cerebellar peduncle, and the cochlear nucleus that should be present below to that the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Then the inferior cerebellar peduncle, it occupies on the posterolateral part. So here you can see the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Then oliocerebellar tract and the different tract, they should be present from the dorsal to that the ventral side. So here that is the medial longitudinal fasciculus, this one on both sides of the median margin, that this tract is present. Second one, that is the tectospinal, this one T. After then that is the medial lemniscus, so this one, and the pyramidal or the corticospinal tract, so this one too. Okay, then the central gray matter, it is spread over to the floor of the fourth ventricle, and that consists of the nuclei of several cranial nerves. So here you can see that is the hypoglossal nucleus, the vagus nucleus, the vestibular nucleus. Here that is the cochlear nucleus is present. So these are the structure which is present, the tiers of the medulla oblongata at the level of the floor of fourth ventricle. Then the blood supply of the medulla oblongata, first that is a pair of vertebral artery. So these two are the vertebral artery. Then the anterior and posterior spinal artery. So here this is the anterior spinal artery and this is the posterior spinal artery. Then anterior and posterior inferior cerebellar artery. So here you can see anterior and posterior inferior cerebellar artery, and this is the basilar artery, this one. So this artery that is supply oxygenated blood to that the medulla oblongata. After then let's see that is the venous drainage. So venous drainage that should be occurs into that the sagittal sinuses, and then the applied or the clinical anatomy. So first clinical point related with the medulla oblongata, that is in the lower part of the floor of the fourth ventricle. So here you can see the fourth ventricle, and in the lower part, so here that is the vital centers of respiration, cardiac and the vasomotor center are present. So if the injury is occurs into that this region, so it may be fatal. Then the second one, that is the bulbar paralysis. So in the bulbar paralysis, that is from the medulla oblongata, last four cranial nerves are originated, that is the glossopharyngeal, vagus, spinal accessory and the hypoglossal. So if the paralysis should be occurs into this region, that is these four cranial nerves, it should be paralyzed, and because of the nerves where it is supplied to the muscles, these muscles are also paralyzed, and because of according to it that seen these symptoms into that the patient. Next one, that is we had seen the blood supply of the medulla oblongata. So that is mostly supplied by the posterior inferior cerebellar artery, and that is the vertebral artery. So if the thrombosis that should be occurs into that the artery, so it can occurs the common vascular lesion. So next to it, the clinical point is, next clinical point, that is the syndrome of Wallenberg. So in which the direct branch of the vertebral artery, so here you can see that is the branch of the vertebral artery supplied to the inferior cerebellum, this one, and it is also supplied to that the part of the medulla oblongata. So if the thrombosis occurs into this artery, so it can causes the dorsolateral aspect of the medulla oblongata and affected with the cerebellum and the medulla oblongata. So it can show some symptoms. That is, first, it can occur the loss of pain and temperature sensation over the face due to involvement of the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. Second symptom, that is the loss of pain and temperature in the trunk due to the involvement of the spino-ophthalmic tract on the generally opposite side. Third symptom, that is the paralysis of the muscle of the palate, pharynx, larynx due to involvement of the nucleus of amblygus. And the last one symptom, that is the ipsilateral ataxia due to involvement of the cerebellar peduncle and the cerebellum. So these are the symptoms that should be seen in the syndrome of the Wallenberg. So the next clinical point, that is the medial medullary syndrome. So it can occur due to blockage of anterior spinal artery, and the features are seen, that is the contralateral hemiplegia. Contralateral means that is the opposite side, that is due to damage of the pyramidal or of the medulla. Then second symptoms, that is the loss of sense of the vibration and opposition and the position due to the damage of the medial lemniscus. So here. Then the paralysis of the muscles of tongue due to the same side injury of the 12th cranial nerves. So here. So these are the symptoms that should be seen into that the medial medullary syndrome. Then the next is the lateral medullary syndrome. So the lateral medullary syndrome occurs due to the blockage of posterior inferior cerebellar artery, and it should be occurs this symptom, that is the ipsilateral paralysis. Ipsilateral means that is the same side of the paralysis of most of the muscles of soft palate, pharynx, larynx due to injury of the nucleus of the amblygus. Second one, that is the loss of pain and the temperature on the same side of the face due to involvement of the spinal tract of the trigeminal nerve. And the next one, that is the loss of pain and temperature of the opposite side of the body due to involvement of lateral spino-ophthalmic tract. And the last one, the giddiness, is occurs due to involvement of the vestibular nuclei. So these are the symptoms that should be seen into that the lateral medullary syndrome. So these are the clinical points which is related with the medulla oblongata.